Hello, and welcome back to the Level Up Podcast.
What's up?
It's episode 15.
Well, already. It's just flying by.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff.
So today's topic is Laugh It Off, why being funny is a superpower for life and health, and why pineapple pizza might be one of the benefits. So maybe we'll explain that a little bit later.
Or maybe we won't.
True.
Leave it as an inside joke.
Yes, you could do that too. So anyway, this is our podcast where we explore how to grow, thrive, and build a stronger version of ourselves in every area of our lives. Excuse me. I'm Deanna Cassidy.
And I'm Huey John.
And we are going to dive into a topic that literally makes life lighter. The lifelong benefits of being funny. So, is it better to be the person who keeps everybody laughing or the one who keeps things serious and steady? What if both approaches bring health benefits in different ways? And how can we balance the two to create a stronger connection and better lives? So that's what we're going to look into on today's podcast. And I guess we'll just start out with our regular format.
Yep.
Okay. So the first question is, what do you think makes humor such a powerful part of human connection?
Well, I think, laughter is sort of like one of those fruits of life. I think when you're laughing, serotonin levels are up and you're feeling good. And I think really it gives you probably the most natural perspective you can in a natural state, right? I think laughing is essential for you to sort of rejig and, refocus all your energies. I think if you're able to basically laugh at something, right? I think generally the perspective is correct, right? As opposed to when you're mad or, other emotions, laughter is natural. It's real. It's unfiltered. And I think it really gives you time to get centered. What do you think?
Yeah, I would agree. I think if you can find humor in the things that you see and do.
Yeah.
And if you can laugh at those, because sometimes
we delve too deep into them, and then, that old saying of making a mole out of them, or a mountain out of a mole hill, right?
Yeah.
So, the whole idea is to be able to basically minimize whatever you're dealing with, if it's daunting.
Yeah.
Or just to basically give you a fresh perspective. I think laughter helps you to actually digest what's going on. If you can find the humor in something, I think you could master it, right? Yeah. If it's that serious you can't even, break a smile on it, then I really think it's got you beat, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think it would give you the opportunity to see it from a different vantage point.
Well, yeah, I'll give you an example. Like last weekend, I found this comedian on Tubi, the streaming service, right? His name was Ali something or other, and he basically did, I guess, a 15-year stint in penitentiary, in jail. And he basically, how he became a comedian, I'll keep it brief, was basically there's different blocks or communities, I guess, in jail, and then so you from time to time you're going to move around to different ones, and so his job was to actually look after a lot of the people that were in isolation unit, right? And so when he went over there, he tried to make life better for them. He basically rallied to get them better care, better clothes, better food, and so forth. And then they had their social time. And so in hopes of entertaining them, he started telling them jokes. And the jokes were based on what was happening in other parts of the penitentiary. And he was hilarious. I actually ended up watching 2 of his specials. I can't remember. I should have wrote it down, but I didn't think I was going to basically reference him. But he was so funny. And I remember saying to you, it makes jail not seem bad, right? Hey, that doesn't seem that bad in there, right? From his perspective, though, I mean, he put a spin on it that I've never, trust me, I have no intentions of ending up there. But, You know, the point fact of the matter is that when you actually find the humor in things, you humanize them,
Yeah.
and you make them, you know, I think a lot more tolerable, a lot more bearable than if you basically just look at the, you know, the cold hard facts that we so often do, making situations that, I'm not saying you can laugh at every situation, but if you're able to basically take it not so serious, easier to digest.
Yeah. Okay, so question 2. Are there measurable health benefits tied to being funny or laughing more often?
I can't. I didn't do any.
I didn't do any research on this.
Research on it, so we chances are.
Oh.
I just think you feel better.
Yeah, I think it helps with stress.
Well, yeah, that definitely. Like, you know, I mean, the thing is that with our sort of, you know, uh, exchange and just, you know, overall dynamics, I would be the funny one because I'm always keeping you laughing, and you would be the serious one.
Yeah.
Right, but you could be funny too. You actually
weird.
Yeah, you know,
weird humor.
Yeah, no, you got some chops. You got sometimes I'm in stitches because I'm just like, well, you know, when you don't expect something to come from somewhere.
See? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I get you.
Element of surprise. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. You can be funny when you choose to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not all the time.
It's all no. It's very rare. Yeah. I reserve that space. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. So, question 3. In what ways can a serious mindset actually serve somebody better than humor?
Well, okay, that's a good question. I think by and large, life is a serious thing.
Yeah.
You know, I think that, you know, and more so today than ever, you know, unfortunately, we live in a world of short attention span. So whatever time you have in order to be valid, it's much better if you don't waste that time telling jokes or, you know, creating humor. You definitely have to state your case and be firm about it, right? Whatever you're doing, whatever your sort of your goal or your life's mission or your daily grind is, you have to be serious about it, right?
Oh, for sure.
You know, let's go back to that one example I told you about earlier on with Victoria Beckham, who had her clothing line for, you know, the past 16 years. You know, and every time you've seen Victoria, it's very, very serious. I had no idea what the story was with her line. I didn't, you know, apparently it lost money for quite a few years. But you would never know because she basically, like, you know, I knew that just through the media or whatever and news stories, that's what she did.
Yeah.
And so she was very, very serious about it. So she took herself seriously. I didn't know much about her, but I took her seriously. And now, for the first time in 2023, she actually turned a profit. And she's being carried in, you know, all the major stores. One is Harrods in the UK, and then I believe all the Saks Fifth Avenue stores in the States. And she's in over 230 stores, but it took her 16 years to get there. So, but, you know, I mean, I'm sure over the years she's probably heard it and so forth. And, you know, people said apparently at one point she was, you know, losing, you know, quite a bit of money on a daily basis. But she was serious about what she was doing. And so I think there is a necessary part of us that has to basically be very serious. Absolutely.
Yeah, because other people wouldn't know how to take you, I think.
No.
Like when you're in a business environment.
No, yeah, yes, to a very large extent, it is essential, but in order to show you have full control, I think, of your space as well, it doesn't hurt. Like, I think a good example of that is Shaq, right? Shaq is a very savvy businessman. Yeah. Right? But he'll tell you, he basically, 80% of what he does is humor. Right? That's his style, right? Because he is funny. I mean, he gets it. He's intelligent enough to be funny. Yeah. Right? He's savvy enough to be able to be funny. I think that other 20% is, you know, and he's accomplished enough to be funny. I think that 20% is reserved for, you know, you get to those, you know, sticky points in business or even in personal relationships where people try to push your buttons or try to test you. And then you have to basically draw, you know, a line in the sand and say, no. Okay, yeah, no, that's not going to work out that way. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
next, right? So yeah, definitely for a lot of people, especially when you're trying to sort of just get out of the gate, and you know me. I mean, I am, I can find the humor in almost anything, right? Um, but I generally know what's going on. I can see most aspects of something.
Yeah.
And I think people used to, I think they used to misjudge that, almost to think, well, this guy is a bit of a joke. And then I sort of basically called them, I mean, because, there's, I think there's a couple of different types of, levels of business out there. They're the haves, and they're always going to basically, you walk into a boardroom with these guys, they're going to crack a joke. You know what I mean? They're because they can afford to, and they're gonna see if you have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Like
or see what your sense of humor.
See what you. Where's that line? Where's where can we go with this? I mean, it was customary, but then you have the lower to middle rank, middle managers who really have no real power. And they basically exhibit it by having zero sense of humor. Like there's zero, because they don't have the luxury of they're there to perform a task, which is to let's figure out what they can do before it has to be escalated to the guys at the top who really don't want to deal with any of it. Right? If they can get the deal done, great. But their job is to basically block and deflect. So I think it depends on who you're dealing with. You're going to get various, the people who could afford to be funny, who could literally afford to be, generally are.
Yeah.
And they're entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they can literally say whatever they want, and doesn't matter. It won't stick.
It's not going to change.
Not going to change there. Yeah. Nothing in their world's going to change.
Okay. Question 4. Sorry. Got sidetracked there. How do you find balance between being the funny person and knowing when to be serious? So I think we've already tapped on that.
Well, there's one thing I'd like to add to that is that you have to be able to read the room. Like
for sure.
You have to be able to take the temperature.
If everybody's dead straight.
Yeah, then
it's some serious, heavy topic. Obviously, you don't want to throw in any weird or any humor into it.
You can't be tone deaf, and there are people who just don't know.
Yeah, or you have to know the situation.
You have to be able to assess the situation and say, would it be appropriate to actually say something, humorous at this point? You literally have to be able to vibe and feel a situation. Yeah. That's something I pride myself on being able to do, and so do you. You read people extremely well, right? And so, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people are just thinking, well, I think it's funny, so I'll lead with this, and then you have a dead, uncomfortable silence. And if it was a deal, the deal would be done, by the way. Yeah. Right? So you have to see the nuances. You have to know what's appropriate from what's not, and that's something you can't teach. That's either you have it or you don't. Yeah. It's like going into interviews, or if you do a lot of interviews, there's certain things you just don't say. No. Right? You just do not say them. And certain people, you don't say them to. Certain people you could address by saying stupid things. Other people, you just do not. No. Exactly. Okay, so question 5. Do you think humor makes people more resilient in tough times? Yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I think it helps them get through whatever they're going through. Well, yeah, I mean, there's an old saying, if you could find the humor in a situation, you could probably get through it. You'll find an answer. You'll find a solution. But if you make it into something that you can't even address with, like humor just allows you to basically take the edge off and take the I'm going to die in this situation. If you look back to all of the, especially for you and I over the years, there have been those situations where it's just like, oh my, how are we going to get through this? And we always do. Right? And really it's about perspective. I mean, it's like, well, I mean, I'm not freak out guy. I've never been that person because given my situation when, you have the rug pulled out of you, out from under you at a very young age, when you've got literally have the world by the balls, everything going for you, and then it's all taken away. you tend to basically be cautious the rest of your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
You tend to basically you take nothing for granted. You know, I don't take anything for granted. I don't take anything or anyone for granted. If you're in my life, it's because I want you there. I choose and I trust you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but if I don't, then it's because I also know how it feels when you trust someone wholeheartedly,
Mm-hmm.
and they basically, they let you down. What people like to say, abandon you. I guess maybe that's the term, the popular term I get all the time. I didn't feel abandoned because I'm intelligent enough to figure it out on my own. But in terms of the people who are supposed to love you, if they don't stand up for you, that is something that you probably will never find a humor in.
Mm-hmm.
There's no humor in that.
No.
There's just heartbreak.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
You know what I mean? That's one of the reasons why, I have such a great relationship with you, is that I know you would never, you would not do anything that would hurt me intentionally. Like, if you're mad at me, you're going to basically be a little baddie, but you're not going to go out of your way to do anything to me that's going to obviously affect my life in a negative way. And there's a lot of people out there who will, right? And so there's no humor in that.
Oh, no.
But when it comes to, like, you lost your job, or your company is going through a rough period, or short of health situations, I wouldn't say laugh it off, but kind of like put it in perspective, and find something to smile about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You don't have to be like super serious.
You don't have to be super serious all the time. I don't think that'll work either. The stress that brings on. I think laughter too. It helps relieve stress.
Mm-hmm.
And stress is a killer.
And just relax you too a little bit.
Absolutely. There was last week Friday, I think it was. There was this post I found on the internet of these two black guys, bigger black guys, that they were outside of the restaurant, and they were, I don't know, I think I sent it to you. They were just laughing. There was they're rolling around on the ground, and it got over 3 million views, the video, and it was just to see the way they were laughing. It was just
joy,
just pure joy. So I shared it. I do that a lot. I find something that I find is funny, and I'll share it with people just so that I don't know what's going on in most people's lives, but if they can't get a good laugh out of the stuff I find funny, like I find a lot of stuff funny. They might not find it funny, but if they do and it helps them to get that laugh, then that's it.
Exactly.
All right, where are we?
Okay, so question 6.
Yep.
Can being too serious or too funny hurt personal relationships or business success?
Yeah, once again,
I think we've already
you have to read the room. You can't be tone deaf.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a time and a place. Yeah.
Because, when you're trying to wheel and deal, or you're just trying to get through a proposal or anything,
that's
can't
serious.
Be joking.
No, you can't be, because people will basically judge you for that. They'll be like, well, if this is how they see this aspect of their business and they think it's funny, chances are they're not going to basically be.
Are they going to take the business
seriously?
Are they going to take the business seriously? How are they handling their business day to day?
Precisely. So you there's a time and a place.
Yeah, very true. I agree. And I think it's true also in personal relationships, because you can't always be super serious. You gotta be humorous and lighthearted as well.
You cannot minimize people's situations.
No.
And I think some people, there's people that sometimes, and I think they're just nervous, so that's their natural reaction. Like you have a nervous laugh, but I think that possibly comes from your anxiety. I don't think you mean to do it, but at times, basically, I've
looked or thought about that, and sometimes it's a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
Or it's something to do so that you're not so deep in the thoughts.
Yeah, but at some points, though, I'll be dealing with something really serious, and then you'll laugh, and then it'll catch me off guard, and I'll be like, no, this is not This is not one, you can't, this is actually really serious, right?
Yeah.
But I've realized with you, it's just it's a reaction. It's not, you, I guess that's just, I don't understand it, but that's just the way you have to deal with it at the time, right? But there are people out there who will actually try to make jokes at times like that to minimize it, and, I mean, I call people on things like, well, do you find that funny? That there's no humor here, right? Because there isn't. Because at the end of the day, if something can seriously affect what you're trying to accomplish, your well-being, your business, your health, and then people are, I remember one time when I was in the doctor's, I think you might have been there with that appointment with me, and then the doctor was asking me, oh, do you do this? Do you do that? Do you do this? And I was pretty serious, going through some stuff at the time. And I said no to all the above. He goes, well, when do you have fun? And I was like, obviously, there you go, laughing like, yeah. But I didn't find that funny at the time. I'm just like, well, yeah, no, dude.
Kind of being serious.
Yeah, like, my health is sort of in question here, and you're making jokes. Yeah, no. So, you want your doctor to be serious.
True.
Yeah, I don't think you want to go in and, have a doctor as a stand-up comedian. I think everything that transpires. I mean, thank God, I'm more than fine now. But back in the time, I was very hypersensitive to what these guys had to say, because I went through a bunch of questionable ones as well. Yeah,
and a lot of things were unknown at that time.
Absolutely. So, for someone to basically be making jokes, it's no. So anyway. That's that. But no, you can't be tone deaf. You have to sort of, you have to know what is appropriate and what's not, and you have to basically be able to empathize with people and say, well, you know what, I mean, maybe they're not as emotionally developed as I am. And so maybe if I said something like that I think was, because maybe I could see a big picture, but they can't right now. They're going through it, they're in the middle of something, then they're struggling. The last thing I'm going to do is basically say something that's going to minimize their suffering, right? So
okay, question 7. What practical ways can we bring more humor into our daily lives for health benefits?
Oh yeah, I got this one. Basically just look at reels.
Yeah.
Reels.
Yeah. Sometimes they're really funny ones.
Sometimes, oh my gosh, yeah. I know. I come across some, and I just crack up. I think basically if you, like, I don't know if most people take lunch anymore. I think it might be a thing of the past, or breaks or whatever. But if you're having a relatively challenging day, and you just basically, you want to shift gears, sort of, take the edge off, just find a good reel, a good comedy reel, on Instagram or Facebook, YouTube. Some of them are just, this is stuff, the internet is hilarious. It's just hilarious.
You can find things that you never would imagine people trying or doing.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. It's.
And you're like, oh.
And that way you're not offending anybody. You're not trying jokes out on people. And if you find something that's really funny, like, I mean, I share this stuff with you constantly. You never look at it, but I fill your inbox with it, just stuff I find that I just find really funny. And I'm just like, you know what, she works really long, and maybe at the end of the day she needs a good laugh.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I check it, but it's like late.
Yeah, late. The way at the end of the day, like, But that, I think that's really a way to, and it's been brilliant to introduce humor to a lot of people who, you have to have the time for it. So if you can look at a 30-second or 60-second reel, of something that's really entertaining, I think it's important. I think it's important. I think it really puts things into perspective. It turns you off, like, in terms of, if you're all serious and all involved, it sort of lets you basically step away for a minute, right? Rejig, and then you go back at it with fresh perspective and lighter, yeah.
And then maybe you see your situation or whatever work you're involved in.
Yeah, from a different angle. Yeah, like when you reapproach it, it's kind of like you're not. It's not all doom and gloom. It's not all intense. It's kind of like okay, well, worst case scenario though. I think the world is not going to end because of whatever you're dealing with. I don't think whatever any of us is dealing with. We got through things like COVID. We got through things like all of these global changes going on, bad economies, you got hurricanes happening all over the place, and people get through them. The human psyche and the human species are extremely resilient.
Yeah.
Right? So when you keep that in mind, you basically just, okay, well, that happened, wasn't very cool, but I've got no time to waste. Let's rebuild and get on with it, You could bounce back from the worst scenarios in life, you know?
Very true.
And so you just get up and you just keep going, but you don't quit. You never quit.
No.
That's not well, no, you'll have time to quit when you're no longer walking this earth. And you got plenty of time. And but while you're here, now you get your butt up and do what you need to do. Yeah, and smile. Yeah, smile. If you can't smile, force it. But you keep going. And on that note...
Very true. And we have an extra question.
Oh, what's the extra question?
This is a surprise.
Ooh, I like surprises.
So in our final question, the one that divides nations, do you like pineapple on your pizza?
Love pineapple on my pizza.
Me too. So I'm not sure why everybody's so divided about it. But
yeah, they'll love pineapple on my pizza.
I think I got no issues with pineapple on my pizza.
Oh no, it's a special thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It works. Okay, so I think we're getting ready to wrap it up for episode 15.
Yeah. Nicely done.
Of the Level Up podcast. So today, remember, it's not all about being one or the other. The stronger character is somebody who knows when to laugh, when to focus, and how to use both to live a healthier, happier life. So if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe, share it with a friend who needs a laugh, or drop us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. So until next time, keep leveling up, keep laughing, and maybe try that pineapple pizza if you haven't.
Please.
Okay. Have
See
a
you
good
guys.
day. See you next week.